For science, we're starting a new unit. It's called Changes to Earth's Surface. I give you guys a printout of it. Okay. Um, uh, it's about the Earth's surface constantly changing and the ways it changes. Erosion is another term we're going to be learning about. So we're going to start on page 366, and it's in your schedule for today, for Tuesday. So go to page 366, and in big yellow, purple letters, it says, "What can break a boulder?" Okay. So this might be hard to believe, but when you think of rocks, words hard and solid may come to mind. You may think that rocks can't ever break, but that's not true. Just look at the picture. Rocks can be cracked and crushed by mere wind and rain. Also, look at the roots of a tree are actually growing and breaking up the rocks. Okay? As you read these pages, underline all the different things that could cause a rock to break down. Okay? When it rains, water could get into the cracks of rocks. When water freezes, it expands. Okay? And then this widens the cracks. So if you guys notice in the winter, cracks in the road keep getting bigger and bigger. That's because the water freezes and then refreezes, and then it expands the crack. It makes it bigger. And then, as I said, when the water freezes again, it pushes the cracks in the rocks even wider. When this happens, many times the rock breaks apart. Okay. So the next page that you guys are going to flip to is 367, okay? We're going to learn about a term called weathering. Not weather like as in, is it sunny out, is it cold, is it hot? Is a different type of weathering that you guys probably haven't heard about. So if you go to the top of page 366, please follow along. The process of rock breaking apart is called weathering. Many different things can cause weathering. Gravity could cause rocks to fall down from a cliff and break rocks below. Flowing water can cause rocks to tumble and scrape against rocks in the riverbed. Sand blown by wind can scrape against rocks. So weathering is the process of rocks breaking apart. That's the simplest definition. Living things can also cause weathering. A tree's roots can grow in a small crack in a rock. As the roots grow, it can push the rock apart until the rock breaks, just like on the photo that we saw on page 366. Animals may dig up rocks, causing the rocks to be exposed to wind and rain. Chemicals in water and rain that flow through or around rocks can also cause weathering. These chemicals combine with the rock and change it so that it crumbles and wears away. Look at the statues on this page. Chemical weathering has already changed one of the statues. So, if you look at the statue on the bottom of the page, it looks like very intact, very in good condition. If you look at the top, you could tell it's been through a lot of weather, okay? That it's been through a lot of decomposition, meaning the rock has been broken down, the structure has been changed, it's not as detailed anymore, right? It looks very old and worn out, really. So what I want you guys to do is answer the question at the bottom of page 367. How will weathering change what this statue looks like, the statue on the bottom? Describe how this statue may look in the future, based on what we have read, okay? Page 368. Just double check here. Oh, okay. This section is called Rocks on the Move. Don't rocks just sit around in the sun all day? No, rocks can move. Find out how. So weathering is just the beginning of a series of changes that often will occur to rocks on the Earth's surface. The same wind and water that can cause weathering can also carry broken bits of rock away. The process of moving weathered rock from one place to another is called erosion. It's another big key vocabulary word. Where you see number 1, I'm going to read. The erosion of a rock is caused by many different natural processes. Moving water is one of the most common causes of erosion. The faster moving water in this stream can shift or move large rocks near the top of a mountain. Together with gravity, water can cause the rocks to move downhill. Okay? Number 2, it says the water pulls the larger pieces of weathered rock along the river's bottom. As the water slows down, it has less energy. So obviously it can't move the largest rocks and pebbles. These are left behind as the water moves on. The dropping of weathered rock by wind or moving water is known as deposition. Okay? So when the wind or water drops down the rock, it slows down enough, it's called deposition. Okay? When it drops it down. So the 2 important terms we learned on this page are erosion, which is the process of moving the weathered or worn out rock from one place to another, and then deposition, where it actually drops it down and it finally slows down enough to drop the rock down wherever it's going to land. Okay? On page 369 now, it says, what happens next? These pictures show the Yangtze River before and after a dam was built across the river. How do you think the dam affects the movement of sediment? So if you look before, the river is free to flow. After, in the picture, you can see there's a dam built there, which is a man-made wall to stop the water from overflowing, or moving too much. So how do you think this dam affects the movement of sediment, which means the deposited rocks that are dropped down on the water bed? Okay, so on number 3, it says, as the water in a river continues to slow down, more bits of weathered rocks are dropped. This happens because the slow-moving water has less energy than the fast-moving water. So slow-moving water can carry only very small pieces of rock, such as sand and silt. These bits of rock are called sediment. So again, going back to the question, how do you think this dam affects the movement of sediment? You think it slows it down? Do you think it is the same? It doesn't affect it? You think it speeds it up? When rivers reach the ocean, I'm on number 4 right now. When rivers reach the ocean, they slow down even more. As they slow down, much of the remaining sediment, remember that means small grains of sand and silt, the remaining sediment the water is dropped. Over time, the sediment piles up near the mouth of a river. It forms a landform called the delta. Okay. So that's it for today. I want you guys to think about that question on page 369 and answer it. And then also on page 367, okay? How will this weathering change what the statue looks like, okay? And we'll pick it up again on Thursday, okay? That's the next day we have our science lesson. Okay. Thanks for listening.